The second thinker in this connection is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the secular Buddhist. It is a well known fact that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, whose period is 1889 to 1956, did not accept in his interpretation of Buddhism rebirth in its traditional sense. Like Buddhadasa Bhikkhu, he also claimed that the doctrine of anatta, non-self, is incompatible with rebirth of the same person. He reinterpreted rebirth as configuration of living body from the same stock of material elements and accepted rebirth in this pro-materialistic sense. Ambedkar did not altogether discard the ideas of karma and rebirth, but reinterpreted them so as to suit to the secular framework. He reinterpreted rebirth as configuration of living body from the same stock of material elements. While secularizing the concept of rebirth, he also secularized other related doctrines. For example, although he accepted upapajya vedaniya kamma, which traditionally means the action which yields fruit in the next life, he interpreted it without reference to the next birth, and he interpreted it as remotely effective karma. Traditional Buddhism accepts the doctrine of karma in order to support morality. It implied that there is already a moral order in the universe due to which a good action will result into happiness and a bad action will result into unhappiness to the same person either in this life or the next life. This doctrine in this form was not acceptable to Ambedkar because it has a necessary implication of afterlife. While giving an alternative interpretation of karma doctrine, he maintained that the moral order is not pre-existent in the universe, but it is something human beings can bring about and sustain with the help of their good actions, or they could disturb the moral order and bring about an immoral order through bad actions. The moral order, if brought about and sustained, will be beneficial to the society at large. Ambedkar in this way reinterpreted the doctrine of karma, thereby maintaining its moral force, but avoiding the implication to afterlife. The traditional form of the doctrine of dependent origination, that is pratitya samutpada, along with the formula of 12 linked chain, that is dvadasha nidana, becomes problematic for a secular Buddhist. Ambedkar accepted the former doctrine which he interpreted as cause-effect relationship, that is pratitya samutpada, as cause-effect relationship, and used it as an argument against the existence of God in his work The Buddha and his Dhamma. He did not include the formula of 12 linked chain in his reformulation of Buddhism. Lastly, Ambedkar interpreted nirvana not as a transcendent state, but as the life free from craving. Hence, Dr. Ambedkar secularized the whole family of concepts which traditionally implied rebirth, other worlds and transcendent existence. Now, we come to another modern secular Buddhist thinker, Stephen Batchelor. So, Stephen Batchelor, a secular Buddhist teacher and a former monk, in his article A Secular Buddhism, refers to three meanings of the word secular. One, something contrasting with the religious. Then number two, something pertaining to this world, and number three, referring to transfer of power from church to state. He then points out that mindfulness meditation, which gives inner sense of freedom, which has the taste of nirvana, can be called secular in all the three senses. He points out that the traditional form of Buddhism, whether of Theravada or Mahayana type, as it is generally understood and practiced, follows the soteriological framework of the beginningless series of births and deaths caused by craving, which results into suffering, and ending which alone amounts to liberation. But the persons who feel at home in a modernity informed by the natural sciences may have fascination for the practices such as mindfulness, but if they are told that they will not be able to follow the dharma truly unless they accept the tenets of Indian soteriology, it will make little sense to them. Stephen Batchelor then proceeds to propose an operating system which he terms as Buddhism 2.0 as an alternative to traditional Buddhism, which he terms as Buddhism 1.0. In his reinterpretation of Buddhism, he replaces the traditional doctrine of Four Noble Truths, which presupposes the cycle of births and deaths, by the doctrine of four tasks. Accordingly, dukkha refers to the task of knowing fully, that is parijnana. Samudaya refers to the task of letting go, that is prahana. Nirvana refers to the task of seeing directly, that is sakshatkarana, and marga refers to the task of bringing into being, that is bhavana. Batchelor is not willing to call the so called Four Noble Truths either truths or noble truths, because they are only four tasks according to him. So, according to him, the task of understanding suffering fully leads to the task of removing its causes, and the task of realization of nirvana leads to the task of following the Eightfold Path. In this way, he tries to give a pragmatic turn to the idea of Four Noble Truths. Hence, Batchelor's Buddhism 2.0 can be considered as a secular reconstruction of Buddhism. Lucas Perry, in his interview of Stephen Batchelor, describes him in the following words: Stephen considers Buddhism to be a constantly evolving culture of awakening rather than a religious system based on immutable dogmas and beliefs. Through his writings, translations and teaching, Stephen engages in a critical exploration of Buddhism's role in the modern world, which has earned him both condemnation as a heretic and praise as a reformer. The three modern Buddhist thinkers which I have mentioned just now can be said to uphold secular form of Buddhism in a strong sense, but there are some Buddhist thinkers who can be called secular in a weaker sense. They did not discard the belief in rebirth, but they, to use a phenomenological term, bracketed it. The core teaching of the Buddha stood for them independently of beliefs in rebirth. Two examples of this second category are Satyanarayan Goenka and the Dalai Lama.